Okay, it says share video file. I'm sorry.
Oh, you could just do it from Facebook. We're live already.
How do I do that?
I'm about to tag you.
Okay. Okay. Got you.
I'm saying all this while we live. Hello, everybody.
Hi, hello.
Okay. All right, we are live and good evening, and thank you for tuning in to the self-checkout show tonight. It's going to be a great show. Therapy. It can be understood in hundreds of ways, but essentially refers to a treatment that helps someone feel better, helps them to be better, helps them to grow stronger, things like that. Therapy in itself, it's not an unfamiliar word, and there are many kinds of therapies we hear about in daily life, like physical therapy, occupational therapy, several different ones. But in regards to mental health, we particularly refer to psychotherapy. Now, there's no certain fixed kind of way of defining that, but I say in layman's terms, we can say that psychotherapy is like the practice of spending time with a trained professional who's usually a psychologist, a counselor, or a social worker who sometimes help diagnose and treat mental and emotional problems like academic difficulties or couples going through issues or personal problems, and sometimes even psychiatric conditions. But whatever the situation is, there is someone available that you can talk to. There is someone available who are professional, who are licensed. This is what they do for a living. And tonight, I'm excited and happy to have one of those individuals on this show with us tonight. And it is a pleasure for me to introduce who I call my pretty girl. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you Miss Donesha Collier. Hello.
Hi, hello.
How are
Thank you for
you?
having me.
You are very welcome. Thank you for coming on. Your big sister already got something to say. Hey, Sharon.
Number one fan.
I am so glad to have you on tonight. It's a pleasure. I did not know until it was towards the end of the month. Hey, Mimi. Her name is Lauren, y'all, but I call her Mimi. That's her nickname. Glad to have you on tonight as well, as you are on just about every week anyway. I did not know, Danisha, that May was Mental Health Awareness Month.
hmm
I didn't know that until the end of the month. I'm like, oh man, I was already in the series, so I couldn't, it was too late. But
hmm
I said, I want to do something about mental health in general, because personally, I speak of it quite a bit. Hey, Mama, thank you for tuning in tonight. I personally speak of it a lot because I'm concerned about it. And I'm concerned about my own and others anyway, but we'll get more into that soon. You guys, as you coming in, as we do every week, I do want you to share, and I want to thank you. Those of you that are watching by Facebook, those of you that are viewing on Periscope, Twitter, even YouTube Live, I appreciate you, and especially those comments on YouTube Live. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. If there's a share button wherever you're viewing, share this, share this, share this. We want everyone to see this show tonight. And so, anyway, I have this young lady on here. She wears many hats, y'all. We go to church together. So I'm extra proud to have her on. She is at our church. She is the leader of the Fun Church Ministry, which is our children's church. She is their leader, and they love her. Uh, we were laughing with Diamond, who her little boy, he cut up sometime, and
He's love his
they put
mama.
him in the children's church. No problem. I said,
hmm
oh, what's wrong with that kid? But she wears a lot of hats. Hey, Daquan, I'm so glad you're on tonight. She wears a lot of hats, and I want her to tell you guys who she is, and we'll get to moving like that. Go, Donesha.
Like he said, my name is Donesha Collier. I am a pre-licensed therapist, which means I am still working under someone else's license until I am fully licensed. Um, I work for a private practice called Finish Rising Counseling. It is a group of therapists that are all Black women or women of color, and that's mostly the population that we do serve. We do not discriminate, but most of the population we receive is African American or people of color, which is very important. That's why I picked that job specifically, um, because we don't have the space as African Americans or people of color. We don't have that space to go talk to people, and we don't feel comfortable talking to people like that. But I service teens, adults, um, little kids as young as 5. I work with people who have anxiety, depression, um, going through spirituality, transitions in life, relationships, couples, but also family relationships. We're helping reunite families. Um, I also do parenting, bring children and parents together, help to communicate more efficiently and stuff like that. And I think that's about it.
That's a lot.
Hey, Jaliqua.
That is a lot. That's your. She said, "Hey, that's my friend. You go, girl."
That's been my friend since I was in second grade.
Oh
She's been
wow!
on this
Thank
journey
you.
with me.
Thank you so much for tuning in. It's good to have that support. That's right. She's a pretty lady too. My apostles, of course, they are on. Everybody, I call Donesha pretty girl. All of them, her and her two sisters, they all have nicknames for me. Donesha is pretty girl. Shasha is my homie, and Charlotte is friend. That's it. So they all have nicknames. But Donesha, I am, and I was saying to you before we came on the show, before we went live tonight, in all seriousness, I am so proud of you. I am proud, proud, proud of you. I'm happy that we served together, and I'm even more proud, like you said, that you're in a private practice with all African American women.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That is
Hmm.
amazing. So you all that are watching, if you have a younger young lady in your house, a daughter, a granddaughter, whatever, pull them into this show with you. They need to see somebody who is young and African American that has made it. She is successful. She's Christian, she's saved, she loves God, goes to church, pays the tithe. That's important. All of these things help to play a part into helping us become successful, whether you want to realize that or not. Yo, I can't help it. I'm don't forget I'm a pastor. I gotta put that out there. You gotta go to church, you gotta be saved, you gotta pay your bills. Indeed. Yeah, so if you have some younger people with you, pull them in and let them watch this show tonight. We're going to get more into that discussion in a moment. But I brought back my top choice question tonight, and I'm going to ask Donesha, and I'm going to ask you all that are watching. What's harder for you to say? A, I apologize. B, I need help. C, I love you. Or D, I trust you. Now, for me, I'm just going to be real, real honest. I think the hardest for me would be to say, I need help because I'm so used to doing it on my own. And when I actually, Danisha, when I know I need some help, I still, in my mind, I'm still trying to figure out another way to get it done without asking anybody for some help. Oh my God. But sometimes you just have to go ahead and buckle down and say, hey, yo, I need some assistance. Okay. Mama said the hardest for her is I need help. Your friend, she said, what's her name? Say her name.
Jaliqua.
Liqua said the hardest for her is I trust you. Okay. Charlotte said B, which is I need help. Yeah, see, I'm not the only one. I see that.
Yeah. It must run in the family, sis.
So that's your
I'm
answer.
going to be. If I need help, I'm not. My mom would testify. I'm not gonna ask. I will go without. and do what I gotta do. But with that goes to saying me saying I need help. And if I'm telling you I need help, that means I trust you enough to help me. And
I
so
like
that
that.
goes hand in hand. So if I tell you I need help, I'm trusting that you are going to help me.
I like that. Yeah. Daquan said the same for him, saying I need help is still a struggle. All right. And there's another one that says, I
Oh, hey,
trust you and
Thursday,
I need
Jazz.
help. Wow. Yeah, those see, I'm seeing a lot of people saying B and
Daryl.
D.
My friends are watching. My
Well,
sisters.
welcome, friends and sisters. Welcome,
Yeah,
welcome.
sisters. All of them.
Mama
Mama's
is
supposed to
watching.
be at work. Mama's supposed to be at work. She's sneaking.
Vanessa said the hardest for her is I trust you. Michelle, hey girl. She said the same thing. B is hard for her. Charlotte said, you just not gonna ask at all. That is
The time
hilarious.
have asked, I have. And I need help. But rarely, it's
um,
rare.
Mimi said that her husband, James, hey, James, said that's a great question. She's going to have to say, B, I need help. I do it myself out of habit. Wow, that is really something. Jaira, hey, Jaira. Jaira says, not only that, but trust you not to throw it in my, oh, I got it. Not to throw it in my face. Right.
Mm.
Yeah. Because that Jaira, that could create a whole nother issue right there. So yeah, I'm glad to see all of you guys answering our question. Dr. Nancy is on.
Hi,
Hello, hello.
Nancy.
All right. So good to see you guys. Hey, Ken. Um, Vanessa said, Donesha, don't you be throwing my pretty girl out of the bus
Ah,
today.
you know what?
Ken is on. Hey, brother Ken. He says sometimes people are afraid to ask for help, and that's true.
That
And
is.
it's funny that you said that because we're actually that's one of the things we're going to hit on tonight. People being afraid to ask for help. But starting our discussion tonight, um, I heard a story on every day when I go to work, on my way to work, and once I even get to work, I listen to 103.5 Kiss FM, the Fred Show. Shout out to Fred and Rufio, Caitlin, all them. Kaylin, not Caitlin, Kaylin, Paulina, Jason Brown, all of them. They are my friends in my head. I listen to them every morning. And I heard this story on their show the maybe a couple of weeks ago concerning Lizzo. Everybody knows Lizzo. Um,
Mhm.
very famous, beautiful girl, fantastic singer, Grammy Award winning. But Lizzo has never minced words when it comes to her mental health. She's 32 years old, and she recently shared some shots from a photo shoot that she did on Instagram, and she used the captions to send messages of hope following a year of uncertainty. One of the captions, Donesha said, 2021 has already left me disappointed with a broken heart. Now,
Mhm.
mind you, we're only now 6 months in. She
Mhm.
says, I'm holding on to hope, but it's slipping through my grip. Life is beautiful, though, so I've decided to sit and feel everything. It hurts, but I'm grateful for feelings. Is one of the captions that she made.
Mhm.
Now, this isn't the first time that she's opened up about her mental health. Now, remember, people, this is Lizzo. We're talking about a multimillionaire, uh, sold all kind of platinum records, known around the world. Uh, she, uh, I believe, yeah, it was in December. She posted a video of a TikTok where she talked about experiencing negative thoughts about her own body image. Because if you do not know Lizzo, Lizzo is what is called a full figured woman, right?
Mhm.
So this is what she said. She said, I came home and I took my clothes off to take a shower, and I just started having all of these really negative thoughts about myself. Like, what's wrong with me? Maybe everything. All the mean things people say about me are true. And why am I so disgusting and hating my body? She goes on to say, normally I would have something positive to say to get me out of this, but I don't. And that's okay too. I think these are normal thoughts. They happen to everybody, they happen to the best of us. We are the best of us. And I have to know that tomorrow, how I feel in here, she was pointing to her head when she said that, it's going to change. And I can only hope that it changes for the better. But I know I am beautiful. I just don't feel it. But I'm going to get through it. I found that to be amazing because um, uh, I think I posted it on Facebook, Don. You could clearly we see here in Lizzo's story, you could really have it all and still mentally you're not there. You're
Yes.
missing it somewhere. Um, what would you say to somebody like that?
Well, number one, I always say we are our number one. We are our hardest critics. We're always hard on ourselves. Number two, how you talk to yourself, it matters. How you look at yourself, it matters. The way you talk. I always tell my clients, the way you talk, be kind and gentle to yourself, because what you say to yourself and what you think about yourself, you internalize that,
Yeah,
you know. And what she is saying is true, to feel those feelings, because oftentimes when we are feeling down or depressed or sad or anxious, we just immediately try to get rid of that feeling as quick as possible. Which you need to feel those feelings, because you're not really coping. You're not developing coping skills. You're not really fixing the problem or understanding where the problem is coming from.
I
Like,
think I think that it was important, and you said it also. I think it was important when she said, "I'm just going to sit and feel all of it."
hmm
I think that was important because, of course, I'm not a therapist like you, but for me, it says I'm going to allow myself the opportunity to have all of these feelings, and it's okay for me to feel this.
hmm
So I think that, um, or let me ask you, do you think that we sometimes, even though we know certain things or feel certain things, I think it's something in us sometimes that kind of pushes them away or tries to like put them in the back of our mind or something.
yeah, it is. It's like you know what's going on, but you can't see the end of the you cannot see the light at the end of the tunnel because you're so far down. And
Yeah,
so you don't see stuff in between, or you can't see it. You don't know, so you push it to the back of your head. You let other things get in the way of your own mindset, your own beliefs, and your own morals about yourself.
yeah. Ms. Boykin says, I believe that's because more people are interested in her weight journey than her
hmm
actual talents. And I hate that because she is so talented and beautiful. You are absolutely right. I think, and I think for me, I think that's stupid because
hmm
whether you're a big person or a small person, your weight does not define who you are as a person.
Exactly.
I think that that is a really, really big issue. Um, with people saying, talking about her weight. Forget her weight. She's talented. She's beautiful, in my
Mhm.
opinion, anyway. And you
Yeah.
also have a comment on your lashes.
Thanks, Jira.
Jara also says she has thousands of people saying negative crap about her daily. She does. She does. I follow her on Instagram and I see it. And I don't know how people can be so despicable, but they are. Nevertheless, no matter what size you are,
hmm
that does not determine who you are.
hmm
So if anybody out there is going through issues with your weight, don't allow people to weight shame you. You know what I'm saying? What they call it, fat shaming or whatever they call it.
Body
Don't
shame.
allow that. Body shaming, yeah. Don't allow that foolishness. And those are not your friends. You don't need them around. Let them go. Deuces, right? Um.
hmm
So yeah, I thought that was really interesting. Absolutely. Yes. Your weight and appearance does not define you. It does not. It does not. I agree with that, Mimi. So Donesha, here we are. You are here, and like I said before, you wear so many hats and you do so much in your profession. I was blown away when I read your job description. First of all, you have a master's, right?
Correct.
It's a master's of,
Couple and family therapy.
okay, it's what they MA.
Yes.
Okay, so that's couples and family therapy. And I read your discussion and I was like, wow, she really, really does a lot. And there are a few things that I wanted to kind of hone in on tonight um, in relation to what you do. One of the things that you expressed was that you specialize in working. One of the specialties that you do is working with millennials experiencing life transitions. Explain that to us.
So I deal with millennials who are maybe like in their 18, 17, making the decision to like go to school, and they don't know how things are going to be because this is they're going to be on their own now. There's no mom and dad or guardian, whoever is taking care of you. How I do this, how I do that, those types of things. Or people who are kind of like me, creeping into to age 30, and how do I am I where I want to be in my life, or are you having like a midlife crisis and stuff like that? I deal with people who are have these expectations for themselves to be in a certain place by 30, 25, and they're not there. And how do we fix that?
Okay. So a lot of people, I think Jaira said, transitioning into adulthood.
Hmm.
That's a struggle within itself, I'm sure.
Yeah, especially if you have come from a strict household where you are not able to make your own decisions, and you have to go and make your own decision as far as like what school you want to go to, where you are you going to dorm and stuff like that. What do I do when I get down there? What I'm going to major in? Like it list goes on and on and on and on.
Strict household. Uh, let me back up for a moment. Daquan says when people are not happy internally, they will put that negative energy out on others. I agree with that. I see it all the time.
That's them
That's
trolls.
very true. Yep, yep. That is very, very true. In relation to coming from a strict household, how, or let me rephrase, can that be detrimental to that young adult that's transitioning into adulthood when they are used to relying on mom and dad or whoever for everything? Now it's like they're being pushed into, a life of their own. So how can that be detrimental to that person?
Sometimes you don't know simple things like some people. This is not clients, but some friends I have who come from strict households, they don't even know how to pay bills or get money orders to pay bills. Simple things like that, or they're not in charge of their own bank accounts because they're relying on mom, dad to Zelle, Cash App, whatever money to them. Um, Not knowing like when people are scamming you, or you know talking to you about drugs or peer pressure, or not even experiencing like having friends and not knowing what type of friend you want, or just trying to be friends with anybody.
Yeah,
You just let
yeah.
everybody into your life because you don't know you don't know what to expect. You don't know what's going on. You're just going with the flow at this moment.
Basic life skills, John says. So,
Hmm.
and that's what I hear too. When you, I think that when you are sheltered so much, and your parents are so very strict on you, that it's hard for you. I would imagine it's hard for a today's 18-year-old to just venture out on their own. They don't have any experience.
Yeah.
And like you said, they're used to everything being done for them. So it makes them difficult. It makes it difficult for them to navigate life on their own. Jira says, how do you feel parents can give a good balance in the household when it comes to the rules? That's a good question, Jira.
I feel like communication. You know, younger kids, because I don't want you to say kids, but younger kids, they often just feel like parents are just throwing things at them, and there's never no compromise, or there's never no, you make these decisions without even talking to them or knowing how they feel about certain things. I think communication, just saying, "Hey, how do you feel about this?" Even though you still are the parent, but having that conversation and letting them know, I don't want to make a decision without you knowing or talking this over with you before making this decision. Because kids, they don't have any autonomy. They don't. And that's something that I implement in my work all the time. I give them a choice of like what you want to talk about. We're gonna still go towards the goal, but we're gonna talk about what you want to talk about or say what you want to say to me because they don't have that
Yeah. Cash DD says the parent handicaps the child.
for
And
sure.
that's how I see it. I see it just like that. Yeah. When you do everything, like literally everything for your child, when it's time for them to take the reins of their own life, they don't know what to do. So
Hmm.
I agree with that. Another question from Jaira. Come on, Jaira, you're gonna be my co-host tonight.
For
Where do you
real.
She's my unofficial co-host tonight. She asked all my questions. So where do you draw the line between feelings and respect in relation to the parent-child relationship?
Do you respect it? Well, first of all, do you respect your child? Some kids don't feel respected. This is sorry, a discussion you have to have with your child. You as a parent, you know your child better than most people, so you should be able to discern. Okay, am I? What is respect for you and respect for your child? And same thing versus feelings too. I always say that don't neglect or ignore your children's feelings because they'll feel like, oh, my mom don't care about me or my dad don't care about me. They're just gonna do whatever they want to do, and it feels like they don't have respect then, in a sense, no more.
Yeah, that's good. John says respect is a two-way street. I agree with
It
that
is,
statement, but I think that again, I'm not the therapist, but I
and I
think
ain't got no
that
kids, but you
right.
know,
But I think that I agree with that statement. Respect is a two-way street.
hmm
However, I feel that sometimes parents can have that, well, I'm your mama, I'm your daddy mentality,
a lot
and
of the
feel
times,
as if they don't necessarily have to respect you. And, and I'm talking about adult children. Now, I can see it. Even if you're a teenager, I still think that there should be a respect there. Um, but when you venture into adulthood, and you deal with families, you deal with
yeah.
the parent-child relationship. I feel that when you venture into adulthood, there should be a certain level of mutual respect
hmm
for, watch this, for the parent to the child, from the child to the parent, and adult to adult. And I think that's where a big hangup is. And I don't know if you've experienced that, where the parent feels that's just my child. But I'm saying that's your adult child, if that makes any
hmm
sense.
Yeah. Um, I've had dealt with that with like teens and parents, not adult and parents. But what you're saying is true. It's it's different levels. It's still respect, especially when they're not in the same household as you anymore. It's still that respect needs to be that mutual respect needs to be there, no matter what. Because like the Bible says, honor your father and mother.
Wow, that's true. Vanessa says, hey, plain and simple, you have to give it to get it. That's how it goes. You have to give respect in order to get it. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Um, Ms. Boykin says, I've been told being in your 20s is the stage of pretending you're an adult. It's kind of like not being able to swim, but someone pushes you into a pool, and so you have to either learn along the way or you're going to drown. Do you believe that that is true about your 20s?
I believe that yes and no, depending on the person. and their means that they have. Everybody's not in the same position. Everybody don't have like trust funds and stuff like that, or money that's going to get them there. Some of us, we actually really do work hard. We don't get to where we want to be until probably late 20s or your early 30s. So yeah, I do believe that that's true. You're not, especially if you don't know what it's really like to be an adult. I understand. That's why I understand. Listen to your parents, obey your parents, because life is hard for people out there that pay bills. I
Yeah.
pay bills, but I don't pay bills. I ain't
You'll
paying
pay
no
bill.
mortgages. I ain't paying no mortgages and nothing like that. But I appreciate what I have, and
Sure.
some people, it makes people tougher who do that in their 20s at young age. They thug it out.
Yeah.
Make it
Dina
work.
says some parents are stuck in old ways. It's okay to be a parent and a friend to your child. I think that's extremely important. I agree with that too.
Hmm.
Yeah, that matters. John says parents have to modify how they parent their child who is now grown. The same practices and communication style you had with them at 15 won't work well for them at 25, 30. Yeah,
It won't.
yeah,
It
yeah.
won't.
Ken says, um, I'm sorry, our pastor said, Amen, Dr. Donesha. Ken
Not
says,
yet.
not yet, right? But it's coming. Ken says some parents yell at their children as opposed to talking to them, and when they become adults, they do the same to their children. So now we're talking pathology.
Hmm.
Um, the way your parents deal with you or dealt with you as a child, 9 times out of 10, whether that be good or bad, you're going to exhibit the same behavior towards your own children.
Yeah.
And I learned that from watching Fix My Life.
Mhm.
That's why
Ayana.
yeah, I've watched it faithfully. I hate she's going off the air, but I saw that a lot. Um, Parents treated their children a certain way, and then in turn, their children ended up treating their children the same way. Like,
Hmm.
wow. And there it is, Charlotte. It's a cycle that somebody has to break.
Right.
Absolutely. So I do want to ask this, and I'm just gonna put it out there because, and again, I don't know the stats, um, but in my mind, I believe that this is how it is. And let me preface that by saying this: there's someone, um, actually several people, but who, and I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago on my show, because you guys know if you watch my show for any length of time, I'm big on mental health. And I have a genuine concern for someone who, on social media, Donesha, almost daily, it seems like there is something wrong. It's like, and I'm like, are you ever happy? It's just always a problem, always an issue, always down, always sad, and that concerned me. And so my question to you is, especially in the African American community, why do you think it's so hard for people to seek professional help from a therapist?
For one, I have many questions. But for one, you don't see people who look like you, and it's in most therapy sites. Now they are beginning to have, therapy for black girls, therapy for black guys now, engines where you can find therapists. But before there was no therapist for black people, and so you have a white therapist talking to you about your black issues, but they can't relate to you, or they're doing little microaggressions to you, and that steer you away from the process. Two, we don't trust people just because for many years when they were using African Americans as medical, you know, experiments, injecting us with syphilis and stuff like that because or stuff like that. We don't trust the medical system. We don't trust people who are in these places because we don't know what they're going to do or what they're going to give to us. We don't trust people, and also we don't trust people to give them our baggage or tell them what's going on, because you're going to be judged if you tell your family, for one. They're going to be like, what's wrong with you? You crazy. That's always number one. You crazy. What's going on? Why are you going to a therapist? And then also they're concerned about, what are you going to tell that therapist? And it's not even, who say I'm talking about you? You have people concerned. But I think those are some of the number ones. Like, we don't see people out there that look like us. Like, in my class when I graduated, it was only 2 African American females that graduated with me. The rest of the class were, it was some Latinas, and then the rest of them white. And so you can see that, like, okay, it's just 2 black therapists there, and it's a class of, I think, 18, 19 students. It's small. There's not that many of us.
So you said, and Daquan agrees that we didn't always have the resources, and I totally agree with that. But now in 2021, we as African Americans, we are hearing more and more and more about therapy, about
Mm-hmm.
getting help. And I titled this session tonight, I Need Help, but I'm afraid they'll think I'm crazy. And that is something that you hit on. I think that, and before I became aware of what therapy really was, I did used to think, oh, people go to therapists because they got problems upstairs. But
Mm-hmm.
and plus in some instances that is true, but it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
mean that you are crazy. It doesn't
Correct.
mean you're crazy. I'm like this now. Uh, Going to therapy could possibly save your life. Sitting down with somebody like we gonna call her that now from now on, everybody, Dr. Donesha, because that's the second person. Because that's what it's gonna be anyway. Uh, Sitting down with somebody like you could, has the potential to save someone's life,
Mm-hmm.
and it's important to, I think, to go to a therapist who knows nothing about you, who knows nothing about your family.
Correct.
So talk about that for a moment.
Yeah, I think it's always really good to go to someone that you don't know. For one, it's unethical. It's unethical, but because you can have dual relationships. But two, this person they're talking to you and they listen to you. They have no bias. There's no bias at all. They don't know anything about you. They just know what you're telling them.
Yeah.
And so it's you who's telling your story and telling what's going on with you. They don't know, the inside, or don't know what other people said about you, because it's biased. That's why I wouldn't go to nobody that I know or a friend of a friend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I wouldn't either. I wouldn't either. I just want to get the first part of this comment. Jaira says, because many are told that it's for white folks and to go to Jesus. Let me just stop right there. I just want to stop right there, because I am a Christian. I'm an associate pastor of my church, and as a pastor, I'm saying to every one of you that's listening, going to church, going to Jesus, sometimes it's not enough.
Hmm.
I'm saying to you that it is okay. Jesus won't be mad if you go and get some professional help,
Hmm.
because he, God, gives people like Dr. Donesha the wisdom to assist us in our issues. So therefore, it's okay to pray and go to church and see a therapist. It's
Hmm.
okay and highly recommended. Um,
Yeah.
let's John says, as blacks, we've also attached stigma and shame to
Hmm.
therapy. So true, which makes others not want to get it.
Or they
I,
keep it on a down low. They don't tell nobody.
yeah,
They won't tell nobody that they're going to therapy.
yeah. I think that well, let's go here. Some therapists will ignore your problems, misdiagnose you because they don't feel like black women can go through the same mental problems white people go through. They just assume we're able to mentally handle anything. Whoa,
Yeah.
that's heavy. That's a heavy statement.
Yes,
Talk about
Jazz.
that one, Donesha.
Yeah. I think that, that's okay to that too. What Jaira said and what Jazz is saying too. Yes, it's a white people thing because our ancestors have endured slavery, so we know, oh, just keep on pushing, keep on pushing, keep on pushing, and push that stuff down. So we're supposed to be mentally strong, but eventually everyone cracks, and so that does happen. That happens in therapy. It happens in the medical field that things are not properly done for African American people, people
Uh,
of color, people of color. I would
yeah,
say.
people of color. Okay. John says therapy is self-care. It's just as essential to your health as exercise or eating right is. I agree with
Hmm.
that. Charlotte says, and God wants us whole and complete. Yes, he does.
Hmm.
That is his will for us to be whole and complete.
Hmm. And I would also like to add to, like, it's there for healing too. People come in to heal, to get over the past, the traumas and stuff like that. They want to heal. It's not necessarily anything that's wrong with them when they're suffering with anxiety or depression. Some people just they want to come and heal.
Absolutely. And it's okay to do that by way of a therapist. Because watch this. And I'm talking to Christian people that's watching. Sometimes y'all, and it's funny because Pastor John, when he was preaching Sunday, he said something to this effect, and it's so true. Sometimes when you're in church, turning around 3 times and running down the aisle ain't gonna get what you need.
Hmm.
That sometimes y'all, that's just not it. It's not a magic trick. Sometimes you need somebody who is trained to go in here
Hmm.
and get to the root of what your trouble is. So it's okay. It's self-care. It's okay to go and sit on somebody's couch and just talk it out. Because watch this. Sometimes, Donesha, and you could tell me if I'm right or wrong. Sometimes all you need is a real good talking. You need to talk it out, and you need to have somebody who has the wherewithal to listen to what you're saying. And a word you said earlier, discern
Hmm.
where all of this is coming from.
Yeah, that is true. That's true.
Yeah,
Yeah. Like that's what going into the feelings. If you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling depressed, why? I always ask, what was going on in your life when you was feeling like this? What just happened to you when this feeling came upon you? Think about the cycles that you're going through, or what's going on in your life to see what's pinpoint this feeling to come to you.
yeah,
You can start tackling stuff like that.
I agree. Kim Taylor, hey Kimmy, she said I needed someone like Donesha when my mom passed. I actually began to feel like I was going crazy and didn't understand why I was feeling the way I did. I'm so
Mhm.
thankful I had co-pastor who helped me through that tough time. Now,
Yeah,
it's important to know also, and one of the things that you said, Donesha, in your description to me was that you also assist people who are grieving.
yeah.
And there is no timetable.
It's really not. It it's a cycle. Sometimes you're mad, sometimes you're sad. It happens. My grandmother, she's been gone from a number of years, and I grieved. But sometimes I still find myself thinking about it, and I get sad too. So it can come back up at any time.
Yeah. There was, I did a session some months ago on, I had a grief counselor. We did a private Zoom, and she showed us this video of a ball. There was a button on a wall, and a ball just bouncing, bouncing, bouncing. And every so often, that ball would hit that button, and that was the
Hmm.
grief button.
Hmm.
And she was saying that at the weirdest times, no matter how long it's been, every now and then that button will be pressed in you.
Hmm.
And you just, you cry, you get sad, whatever. This is another situation to all of you who are watching. This is another situation where you may need therapy.
Hmm.
Again, it's not that you're crazy. Sometimes, like I said before, you just need to talk it out. Just talk it out, talk it out, talk it out. Um, Daquan says within the Christian community, mostly black churches, I found that we don't talk about mental health. Also, we're told you only need Jesus and stuff like it's not God to see a therapist. All not true. Yeah, that don't that's no, 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 no. We do need Jesus. He is the one that we need first and foremost. That is true. However, we also we'll be okay by seeing a therapist. Because if we don't see him, Dr. Donesha don't get paid.
And that's one of the goals, get paid.
And we want her to get paid, okay? And see, that's also true. I'm seeing so many comments. This is wonderful. He says having a therapist actually has drawn me closer to God. See there?
Mm-hmm.
See? And Charlotte says something that's very important. It should be okay for us to say, I have a therapist and not feel judged.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, here's another one. It's important to choose a therapist that understands your background. I have been to therapy and it seemed that only the black ones understood me. I think that that may be important, Donesha. You can help me with that. I'm inclined to agree with this comment right here.
Yeah.
While I don't think all Caucasian people are racist, I don't feel like that at all. And we're not even here to discuss that issue.
Mm-hmm.
However, I do feel that it may be more beneficial to talk to someone who can somewhat identify with you. I don't know if that makes sense. In your world, you can talk about that.
Yeah, it does make sense. Yes, because if they're, you know, scenario wise, say you find a therapist in a private practice that charging you probably 180 an hour. Can't for one, if you come from like a lower SES family or you know, are you going to be able to pay that fee? Is there a sliding scale for me? How are you going to be able to assist me if you don't know what I go through to get to you? What if I have to go get on a bus to train everything to get to you? Like things like that, or even, saying, oh, I'm not coming out of my house today because, or saying like when the rights was going on, I'm the rights was going on, being an African American person, and not saying, oh, I can't come in today because I don't feel safe leaving at my house. Like those type of things that don't have to be worried about, or people who just really they don't relate to you. They
Yep.
get what I'm saying, like why, oh, I won't go to the doctor like that because I don't trust doctors like that to take care of me, or certain things like I have discussions with people all the time, like, I'm scared to have a baby because I'm African American and they might not help me the way I need to be helped to have a baby, or I might die. And that's something that's not talked about a lot either, but yeah.
Wow. That's really something. Mimi said, God provides us resources, and sometimes we don't realize the blessing of those resources at our disposal that are positioned to help us. That is true. Very, very true. Hey, Rosalind, good evening. So glad to see you on tonight. My mom said that it's continually happening to me in relation to uh, constantly grieving, and Rosalind agrees. Rosalind says it's been 10 years for my baby sisters, and in 2 weeks it's her birthday, and it's been 8 years for my mom, and I can truly say those moments hit at any time. Yep. So
Yeah,
now,
it's true.
yeah, for sure. Those of y'all that know me know that I have taken three of the biggest hits of my life within the past
Hmm.
eight years. I lost my brother. 2 years later, I lost my sister. Um, a couple of years later, I lost my sister, and then 2 years after my sister passed, my dad passed just this past September, and I'm still struggling. I still struggle with that. But guess what, y'all? I have a therapist, and it's okay for me to say that I have a therapist,
Hmm.
and that's just what it is. I felt that it was the right thing for me to do. Instead of internalizing all of these feelings, I go to someone who is professional and licensed. This is what they do.
Hmm.
And it helped me. It helped me. It helped me. Um, Rosalind says, I don't think I really grieve, and I sometimes think I need counseling. I did. I did need counseling. And I'm telling you, it helped. It helped. And if it helped me, I'm sure it'll help you too. Now, Donesha, get back to something that you said. And I think I mentioned this to you before we went live tonight. You said that I don't know if you just threw a number out there or this is like the going rate. You mentioned $180 an hour.
I have seen some of my cohort members who charge that amount. Um, but mine's, yes, you can find places that is affordable. Like sometimes they have to do $40 sessions or 15, depending on what you can afford. But we also do, some places do offer sliding scales for therapy, or they do take Medicaid, Sigma, Blue Cross Blue Shield, whatever type of insurance you have. Or in some places where you can get like a certain amount of sessions free, up like probably like 3 or 6, and then you have to pay after that. But
Okay.
it's places that will work with you.
Okay. And that was one of my questions. I just went on and put it up there since you said it. Are there therapists out there that accept Medicare, Medicaid? So the answer to that is yes.
Mm-hmm.
And you got your boy on here.
Go Cougars.
Hey, Stennis. Yeah. So let's see here. Daquan says for a while, Theory, I am not talking to you. For a while, she just sometimes just started talking. I ain't said nothing to her. For a while, I didn't want to go outside seeing all these black men being killed. It broke my heart. And
Mm-hmm.
even now, I think, wow, it could be me. And to go along with that, Jaira says, speaking of death, how do you feel therapists like yourself can assist in the current chaos in Chicago where death is around every corner?
That's a deep question. Especially serving the population that I do serve. Um, I just do my best to try to assist the person as much as I can. I always ask, is there anything extra you need me to do, or is something specific that you're looking for me to do, or do you expect from me? It's really hard. Just like I think his name Daquan.
Mm-hmm.
Like I I don't know how people are watching these videos of people dying. I'm not watching these people. I cannot watch my people die. I can't. It's really disheartening and very saddening. Um, but in the chaos, I just, I process with my clients. I ask them, you want to process about what's going on, especially if it's someone it's your neighborhood, it's our community. Um, and I also talk about like the measures that we can take to make sure it does not end up being one of us.
Yeah.
As far as like don't start resisting, or just do as you're told, or have somebody with you.
Yeah.
Most time if someone with you, they won't do nothing to both of y'all. So, but every scenario is always different. Every person is always different. Because I find myself in situations like that, or being scared to talk to certain police officers, or being in certain areas because I know it's high police um appearance over there.
I always wanted to know, do therapists need therapists?
Yes, we do.
I always wanted to know that.
Yes, we do. Because at
So,
the
do
end
you
of
have
the
a
day,
therapist?
I am searching.
You're
I
searching
am.
for
I need
one.
to unpack some stuff.
Yeah, yeah. See, that's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about. And Dr. Kermita is on here. Dr. Kermita, she could have been on this show with you. She agrees, yes, because she is also I can never remember her title, but she like a therapist too.
Hmm.
Um, Psychologist, psychiatrist, one of them. I don't know, but I always want to know that. Like you all you sit and you allow us to unpack everything on you. And
Hmm.
so I'm like, when does the therapist get to unpack?
Yeah. Yeah. We do. We all need our own therapist. Because at the end of the day, we're still people ourselves. We still have our own obstacles and struggles and sadness and high peaks and low peaks in life. And so we need someone to talk to. Need to talk to too.
Yeah. Lauren says, I can be transparent and say, I went to a few group therapy sessions referred by the hospital after DNC. I don't know what that means.
Hmm. So,
Miscarriage.
yeah, it's an
So,
operation.
okay. And a miscarriage years back when some close to me didn't have the words. I was able then to see that I wasn't alone in that real life situation. Hurtful pain is real and healing is as well, but healing takes time.
It does.
So, how, as a therapist, from beginning to end, do you do like 12 sessions with a person, 8 sessions, or does it depend on how deep rooted stuff is?
Yeah, it depends on how deep they want, how deep the problem is and how severe it is. And also, like if things are, getting better, we can start, microdose instead of coming every week and do like every 2 weeks or once a month. If you feel yourself things are getting better for you. Um if you I would say if you don't, if you're not putting in the it takes two. If you're not meeting me or you're not, it's a process therapy is, but if like months go by and you still feel like you cannot talk to me or you don't want to do certain things, I'm not gonna hold you. If this not fitting for you, because as a therapist, I have learned this. I'm not gonna be the right therapist for everybody, every client I receive, and I'm fine with that. If you
Yeah.
don't feel like you're clicking or you're not getting what you need from me, that's fine. I'll recommend you somebody else. I have friends, I have classmates who are doing therapy, and so I can refer you to them. But that's the thing too, if you gonna come into therapy, come in with the same energy that you want out of it. It can be hard for most people. I understand that, but if progress, you should see some progress. If you don't feel like it's progress being made, then you're not either ready to take those steps into healing. You want to reevaluate that because in essential, I don't want anybody wasting their money or wasting their Medicare or anything on me when they could be using it for probably someone else or something else.
So it's okay for if I come to Dr. Donesha and we have our first session and I feel like, yeah, I don't think she's the right one. I can just go elsewhere.
Yeah, I mean,
Is it
you
that
can
simple?
contact me and say, hey, I don't feel like I'm getting what I need for you. I can refer you to somebody else, or make recommendations for them. Or I always say you can
Okay.
go to therapyforblackgirls.com or therapyforblackguys.com, or go on Psychology Today. What's the other site? Better Help, I believe too. Yeah.
So here's what I would like for you to do, since you're mentioning those when we leave the live,
Mhm.
go back into this video and
Mhm.
list each of those websites, even the one where you can be reached, even
Okay.
because we want. I'm going to say I want as many of you as possible that think possibly that you could, use the assistance of a therapist to sit down and talk it out. I am an advocate for therapy. I am an advocate for anyone seeking help concerning their mental health.
Mhm.
Um, so wait a minute, Jarvis, why do you feel the South Side? It's
Girl, if you
always the one side. No, but she's joking, but she shares the same sentiments that I shared. I too, Tyra, am very, very proud of Donesha, and I know she is already transforming lives. This is amazing. I really, really, I'm so grateful that you're on my show, and I'm grateful to God that I know you. This is big. Um, Next week, y'all. Next week. I'm coming back. I brought two of my former guests back. They were so good last month. I brought them back, the brothers, Troy and Antoine Thomas, and they're going to talk about something that I think we might need to listen to, and that's that favorite child syndrome. That's going to be something. You all come back next Tuesday night for that. But before you go, um, Listen, when we sign up for therapy, it's a long road ahead, and we may feel as if we're riding an emotional roller coaster. Anisha probably can agree to that.
Hmm.
Um, there'll be times when we feel like we're not cut out for it or go through different emotions. But in order to help ourselves, people, we need to be prepared to fight whatever the feeling is that you have and pull through. Therapy is a two-way process, and it's not practical to expect all these amazing, astonishing results in one day.
Hmm.
Being a part of the process, as Donesha said to us a few minutes ago, be a part of it. And being a part of it will help you understand more about yourself, like your strengths, your weaknesses, some triggers you may have, even some emotional limitations or some kind of anger issues that you might have. And that was me. I was the angry one. All right. But overall, this process will help you learn to be more introspective and become more able and capable of coping with different situations in life. Remember that it is a therapist's goal. It's their goal to aid in the recovery process. So try and be receptive. Try to, really sit down and listen, receive what they're saying, even though it might be difficult. But you need to do that so that you can become a better version of you. That should be our ultimate goal, to be a better me. Not looking at what anybody else is doing. I want to be a better me today than I was yesterday. And if you're having a hard time doing that, if you're having a hard time uh, getting over things that happened in your childhood and you're now 40, 50, and you can't seem to break free from it, if you are having a hard time dealing with grief, if you uh, oh man, we could go on and on with different if yous, but I'm saying to you that if any of these things fit you, or you just have a struggle in your mind for whatever reason, I'm saying to you, pray. I'm saying to you, read your Bible. I'm saying to you, go to a good church that believes in prayer and the Word of God. And I'm also saying to you, it's okay to seek out a therapist. It's okay. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been my pleasure to have what we now call Dr. on the Self
Thank
Checkout
you.
Show tonight. And if you did not know, the shirt that she is wearing is my brand. Hello, Plant Build Dominate. And that is exactly what she has done as a beautiful young woman of color. She has dominated and is continuing to dominate in the area of mental health. Ladies and gentlemen, I almost act like I was in the building. I was going to say, put your hands together. But throw some hearts up for my guest tonight, Donesha Collier. Thank you so much for being on tonight.
Thank you for having me. Thank you
I
for
might
having
have
me.
to get you back another time. You never know.
I would love to come back. I
Because
would
with
love
all
to
this
come
stuff that's going on in our world, we might need to have a therapist on every month.
back. No, seriously though.
No, I would love to have you back for sure. Thank you so much. Everybody is so proud of you. I wish I could put all these comments up real soon. Um, I said soon because I saw Kiara said I'll be contacting Donesha soon. I would love to hear her story. All right, so you do that. Contact her. You all contact the therapist if you need one, but contact Jesus first because he's the one
Mhm.
that can help you first and foremost. I love you all. This has been Self Checkout, where we take an honest look at what's in our hearts, minds, and spirits. Until next Tuesday night, I'm Pastor Will. That's Donesha Collier, and we'll see y'all next week. Take care, everybody.
Bye.